Hi, I'm John Woodward with my guest, Pastor Umar Mulinde, who's from Uganda. We've been talking about his testimony, coming from a Muslim background and coming to faith in Jesus, even surviving a horrific acid attack by terrorists. We were asking him some questions, and the question I'd like to pose to you at this time, Umar, is at age 21, when you came to faith in Jesus, for many years you had heard repeatedly and believed that Mohammed was the greatest prophet, that somehow he had superseded Jesus. How did your faith transition about that topic?
Yeah, my faith transition out of that, because when you look at the teaching of Muhammad himself, you find that Jesus is greater than any other prophet. For instance, in the Quran mentions Jesus 93 times, whereas Muhammad is mentioned 24 times. The Quran mentions the name of the mother of Jesus 97 times. But the Quran does not mention the mother of Muhammad anywhere. And when you look at what Muhammad talked about Jesus, it's amazing. You find that Jesus is a miracle worker. That is chapter 3 of the Quran, verse 49. It talks about how Jesus raised the dead, how Jesus healed the blind people, how Jesus healed the deaf. And the eschatology of Islam is very interesting. Muhammad told his followers in chapter 39 of the Quran, verse 30, he called Umar. He says, "Innaka mayitu wa innakum mayituna." I'm going to die, and you, my followers, you are going to die also. And he died. But when he was going to die, he told them, at the last day, Isa ibn Maryam will come. Jesus will come. So Muhammad was going to die, but told people that the last person to come before the end will be Jesus to defeat the Antichrist. And then he said, then Jesus will rule all over, and then the end will come. So if the leader himself talked about Jesus, and the leader himself said, for me, I'm going to die. Actually, there is one verse in the Quran, chapter 46, verse 9. He said, I don't know what will happen to me, and I don't know what will happen to you, because I'm not a new thing, I'm just a messenger. So according to these verses, the superiority of Jesus is very high. In the Quran, Jesus is called holy. Gulaman Dhakiya. That's chapter 19, verse 19. In the Quran, chapter 4, verse 171, Jesus is called Kalimatullah, the word of God, of Allah. So when Jesus is the word of Allah and Jesus is holy, that shows that Jesus is superior to any other prophet, and that's why I follow Jesus.
Pastor Umar, we thank you for your testimony, and friends, we would invite you to go to imtv.us to see other programs of Pastor Umar's testimony and vital issues that are related to the gospel in Islam. Thanks for joining us.